Hey everyone! Alright, so this is the introduction to the book of Matthew. Alright, so Matthew is the first book of the New Testament. So just quickly, the Bible is split up into two parts, so the Old Testament and the New Testament. So the Old Testament is before Jesus came, prophecies talking about him coming, and then the New Testament is when Jesus came and then after he died and what happened after that. So two parts. So this is the first book of the New Testament. So it was written between 60 and 65 AD. So AD is after Jesus died. All right, and it was written by Matthew. So a little bit about Matthew. He was a Jew. He was a tax collector for the Romans. So during this time, the Romans were in control. So they had taken over, and they just basically set up, and they were oppressing the Jewish people. They were they had high taxes, and they basically just did whatever they wanted. Whatever they said went. So the Jewish people were really oppressed during this time. So Matthew was a tax collector. So he was really looked down upon and even hated by the Jewish people because he was considered a traitor because he worked for the Romans. And the tax collectors were also known for taking money off of the top of the collections and just keeping it for themselves. So a lot of them were just getting rich basically off of the Jewish people. So he was really looked down upon, considered, a liar and a thief and things like that. So when Jesus came, Matthew was one of the 12 people that Jesus called to be his disciple. So Jesus called 12 people, 12 of his disciples, so 12 people that he called, and those were the people that were closest to him. So they basically gave up everything and followed Jesus around for his entire ministry, which is about 3 years or so. So Matthew was one of those people. So it's cool because, he's not somebody that people would have expected Jesus to choose. And that's why I just love it because, Jesus looks at the heart. He doesn't look at what man looks at. And so even though Matthew seemed like a certain way from the outside and by his actions, God still chose him, and Matthew answered the call and followed God. So I think it's a valuable point to see that, God doesn't care about what you've done or what you're currently doing. When he calls you, when he makes that encounter with you and gives you the opportunity to say, hey, give everything up and follow me, it's what you do in that decision that really matters. So Matthew gave up everything and followed God, and so can we make that U-turn, give up our old life and start following God. So I think that's wicked cool. So also during this time before Jesus came, so the Jewish people were waiting for Jesus to come, basically for the Messiah or the anointed one that was prophesied all in the Old Testament. So all the Jewish people, Jewish leaders and everything were waiting for Jesus to come. However, they thought that he was going to be a king that would come and overthrow the Roman government and bring justice and basically free them from all their oppression. So when Jesus came, and he was basically just a poor boy, and he was a servant and a slave, and then was rejected and then eventually killed, a lot of the Jewish people couldn't accept him as Messiah and said, no, he's not the chosen one, that's not him, he's not the Christ that we've been waiting for. So a lot of people of the Jewish religion and stuff rejected Jesus. So Matthew was a Jew, so he wrote this book to fellow Jews to prove that no, Jesus is the Messiah. And there is a lot of prophecies in the Old Testament that actually talk about when Jesus comes, he's going to suffer and he's going to be rejected and he's going to eventually die for our sins and everything. So Matthew wrote this book to fellow Jews to explain Christ is the one that was prophesied for, he is the Son of God, and to explain what God's kingdom is. So God did establish his kingdom, but it wasn't the kingdom that they were looking for. So he goes in and talks about that. So that's kind of like an introduction quickly. The next video I do will be probably on chapter 1 or I might do chapters 1 and 2. So I encourage everybody to start reading chapter 1. If you have the Bible too, that the study Bible, I would encourage you to read the introduction because it's helpful. And then if you have time, so you read chapter 1, and then if you're confused at all, or even if you're not confused, just reading the bottom that explains it is super helpful just for ways to apply it to your life. And I'll do a little video on that as well. So we're gonna try to do one chapter every 2 days or so to give people a little bit of time. If you get behind, don't worry, you can either catch up or just pick up, where we are. It's kind of like a self-paced thing, but also, want people to be able to discuss it and things like that. So I'm looking forward to going through this with you guys. All right, bye.